All right, folks, gather around. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the one that weighs heavy on all our minds. Getting things done. Now, before you tune out with a groan of another productivity lecture, hear me out. This ain't your average to-do list pep talk. Today, we're going to peel back the layers and understand why some days that list seems like Mount Everest, while others, it's a gentle stroll in the park. Think about it. You wake up with a fire in your belly, a dream screaming to be chased. You list down your goals, a roadmap to success. But somewhere between the excitement and the finish line, something shifts. The tasks pile up. Deadlines loom like hungry wolves, and suddenly that once inspiring list feels like a prison sentence. Why? Because inertia sets in, friends. It's like pushing a rusty car. It takes a mighty shove to get it rolling, but once it does, a gentle push keeps it moving. Same goes for us. The longer we let tasks sit undone, the harder it is to even think about starting. So how do we break free from this inertia? How do we jumpstart that engine and get that mountain moving? The answer, my friends, is beautifully simple, yet often overlooks action. You see, dreams and plans are like seeds. They hold incredible potential, but without sunlight and water, they remain dormant. It's action that turns those dreams into a thriving garden. But here's the key. Start small. Don't try to tackle the entire mountain in one go. Pick one tiny manageable task. The smallest step you can take, and do it. What's the one thing you can do right now today that moves you closer to your goal? Maybe it's making that first phone call you've been dreading, jotting down 3 concrete steps, or simply clearing your desk of clutter. Take that single action, no matter how small, and watch the magic happen. You might be surprised at how quickly that simple step fuels the next one. Now, let's be honest. There will be days when motivation dips, lower than your battery on a cold morning. The mountain might seem to grow taller, and that once clear path gets shrouded in doubt. That's okay, folks. It happens to the best of us. The key is to recognize these dips and have a plan B ready. Maybe it's a quick pep talk from a friend, a reminder of your why, or even a reward system to celebrate your progress. Remember, even the mightiest oak tree started as a tiny acorn, but it didn't get there by wishing for sunshine and water. It pushed its roots deep and grew through challenges. So the more you take consistent action, the more you build a habit of getting things done. It becomes second nature, a muscle you strengthen with every completed task. Ever built a house of cards? You wouldn't start with the roof, would you? You lay the foundation card by card. Each completed task, each small action, is a brick in the foundation of your success. And with a strong foundation, you can build anything you set your mind to. And let me tell you, the feeling of accomplishment when you finally reach the top of that mountain, big or small, is pure gold. Completing a goal, even a seemingly insignificant one, is a testament to your hard work, your dedication, and your unwavering ability to get things done. It fuels your confidence and empowers you to tackle even bigger challenges. Now, some of you might be thinking, but what if I don't have the perfect moment to start? Here's the truth. Folks, the perfect moment is a myth. There will always be distraction. There will always be reasons to put things off. But guess what? The future is never guaranteed. Don't wait for the stars to align, for everything to be just right. Take action today, right now. We all have dreams, goals we chase after. But somewhere between the spark of inspiration and the finish line, something happens. We get bogged down, the to-do list gets longer, deadlines loom closer, and suddenly that mountain of tasks seems impossible to climb. Why? Because of inertia. Think about it. You ever tried pushing a heavy object? It takes a burst of effort to get it moving, right? But once it's rolling, it keeps going with a lot less effort. That's inertia. It applies to our lives too. The longer we let tasks sit undone, the harder it becomes to start. The mountain seems steeper, the path more daunting. So how do we overcome this inertia? How do we ignite the engine and get that mountain moving? The answer is simple, yet often overlooks. Action. It's one thing to dream, to plan, to strategize. But without action, those dreams remain just that. Dream. Here's the key. Start small. Don't try to tackle the entire mountain in one go. Pick a single manageable task. The smallest step you can take and do it. Ask yourself, what's the one thing you can do right now today that will move you closer to your goal? Maybe it's making that first phone call, writing down 3 concrete steps, or simply clearing your workspace. Take that small action and watch what happens. It might surprise you. Here's the beauty of action. It creates momentum. Once you take that first step, the next one becomes easier. That mountain you once saw is insurmountable. It starts to look a little less intimidating. The feeling of accomplishment fuels your drive to keep going. You're no longer pushing uphill. You're rolling downhill, gathering momentum with every action. Now there will be obstacles. Days of motivation dips, and the mountain seems to grow again. That's okay. The key is to recognize these dips and have a plan. Maybe it's a quick pep talk from a friend, a reminder of your why, or simply a reward system to celebrate your progress. We all know the feeling, right? You conquer that initial inertia. You take that first action, and a sense of accomplishment washes over you. But here's the thing, folks, that feeling is addictive. The more you take consistent action, the more you crave that sweet taste of progress. It becomes a habit as ingrained as brushing your teeth or reaching for your morning coffee. Have you ever seen a child learning to walk? They take a wobbly step, maybe 2. Then they topple over. But do they give up? Heck no. They get back up, dust themselves off, and take another step and another. Why? Because they understand deep down that each step, each wobble, is building the strength and confidence they need to walk tall. That's exactly what we're doing here, friends. Each completed task, each small action, is a brick you lay in the foundation of your success. Now, some of you might be picturing a towering skyscraper, a monumental task that seems impossible to build. But hold on a second. We're not starting with the penthouse suite. We're laying the groundwork. Every completed task, no matter how small, is a brick in that foundation. Remember, even the most magnificent buildings began as a simple blueprint, a single brick carefully placed. So let's get building. Raise your hand if you've ever started a project with a long to-do list, only get overwhelmed and abandon it halfway through. Any hands shoot up in the audience? See, I told you. We've all been there, but here's the secret. Break that long list down into bite-sized pieces. What's one tiny step you can take on that project right now? Maybe it's sending a quick email, researching a specific topic, or simply clearing your workspace. Take that single action, folks, and watch the momentum build. You'll be surprised at how quickly those small steps turn into big strides towards your goal. All right, folks, let's talk about this perfect moment business. We've all heard it, that magical time when everything aligns and suddenly we're overflowing with motivation and laser focus. Sounds pretty sweet, right? But here's the thing. That perfect moment is a myth, a beautiful daydream that keeps us stuck in neutral. How many times have you pushed a big project down the road because you were waiting for the right time? Maybe it's that business idea you haven't researched because you need the perfect quiet weekend witch. Let's be honest, never seems to come along. Or perhaps it's the gym membership gathering dust because you're waiting for a burst of superhuman energy. Spoiler alert. That burst is extremely rare. The truth is, folks, life is messy. There will always be distractions. There will always be reasons to put things off. But here's the secret. Action breeds motivation, not the other way around. You don't need a surge of inspiration to get started. You just need to take that first step, no matter how small. It's like a car battery. The longer it sits unused, the harder it is to jumpstart. But take the key, turn the ignition, and suddenly you're cruising down the road. Let me tell you a story. Back in the day, I used to struggle with writing. I'd stare at a blank page for hours waiting for the muse to strike. But guess what? The muse never showed up. Until one day I decided to take action. I set a timer for just 15 minutes and forced myself to write everything. And you know what? After those 15 minutes, something magical happened. The words started flowing, ideas sparked, and before I knew it, I had the beginnings of an article. That, my friends, is the power of action. So, don't wait for the stars to align, for everything to be perfect. The future is never guaranteed. Take action today, right now. Start with something small, something manageable. Make that phone call, write down one concrete step, or clear a corner of your workspace. That single action, that tiny spark, could be the catalyst that ignites a fire within you. Remember, the only way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time, and the only way to achieve your goals is one action at a time. Let's get moving, folks! So the next time you find yourself staring at a mountain of tasks, remember this: it's not about how big the mountain is, but about taking that first step. Focus on small wins, consistent action, and building a habit of getting things done. Every completed task, every small victory brings you closer to your ultimate goal. Because we all have one, the doubter. That voice inside your head whispering negativity, telling you can't do it. It throws up roadblocks like what ifs and buts. Here's the thing: the doubter exists because it wants to protect you, to keep you safe from failure. But remember, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the journey. Think about a child learning to walk. They fall down a lot, but do they give up? Heck no. They get back up, dust themselves off, and try again. Why? Because they know that falling is a necessary part of learning how to walk. The same goes for us. We will stumble, we will make mistakes, but those failures are valuable lessons. They teach us what doesn't work, what needs adjusting. They make us stronger, smarter, and better equipped to reach our goals. So how do we silence the doubter? We turn it into our fuel. We use its negativity to propel us forward. When the doubter whispers, "You can't," we respond with, "Watch me." Doubt can be a powerful motivator when we channel it in the right direction. Use it to light a fire under your backside, to push you past your perceived limitations. The truth is, we are capable of achieving more than you think. We all possess the potential for greatness. But it starts with believing in ourselves. Believe that you can overcome obstacles, that you can learn from mistakes, that you can achieve your goals. Belief is the fuel that powers action. It's the foundation upon which success is built. So don't wait for a magic spark of motivation. Action breeds motivation, not the other way around. Take the first step, no matter how small. You don't need fancy tools or perfect conditions. Start where you are with what you have. Maybe it's using your lunch break to make a call, or spending 30 minutes before bed tackling a single task. Every action counts. Let's face it, folks, to-do lists can feel like a never-ending game of whack-a-mole. You cross one item off and two more pop up in its place. But what if getting things done wasn't just about checking boxes? What if it was about something bigger, something more fulfilling? Getting things done is about building a life of achievement. A life where you look back with pride at the mountains you climbed, the dreams you chased, and the person you became along the way. It's not about some distant finish line. It's about the journey, the relentless pursuit of becoming the best version of yourself. It's about waking up every morning excited to tackle the day, knowing that every action, every completed task is a brick you lay in the foundation of your success. Now, some of you might be thinking, this all sounds great, but where do I even start? It all starts with that first action, that tiny step forward. Remember that saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step? It's true. That single step, no matter how small, breaks the inertia, gets the ball rolling. It might be making the call you've been dreading, signing up for that online course, or simply clearing out a cluttered drawer. That one action sparks momentum, propels you forward, and before you know it, you're well on your way to achieving your goals. Success, my friends, is not magic. It's sweat, it's dedication, it's the relentless pursuit of your dreams, one action at a time. Think about it. Have you ever witnessed a sculptor chipping away at a block of stone, stroke by stroke? They transform that raw material into a masterpiece. Well, that's exactly what we're doing here. We're chipping away at our goals, bit by bit, day by day. It might not always be easy. There will be setbacks and moments of doubt. But here's the secret weapon. Never give up on yourself. Remember, even the mightiest oak tree started as a tiny acorn. It didn't reach its full potential by wishing for sunshine and water. It pushed its roots deep into the ground, weathered storms, and grew stronger with each passing season. That's the spirit we need to cultivate. We need to be relentless.